Yeah, I just finished up my writing for today. I'm working on a series, travel fiction series. I've been working on that, but I worked today for a few hours working at my normal job, my normal digital nomading job, which is tutoring in geography. And but last night I was thinking, how sort of lost I feel, sometimes how when I'm traveling around, I can feel just sort of disconnected, and if I don't have people around me, people to talk to, it really helps to be able to talk to people. But if you don't, when you're traveling, oftentimes you don't really meet a lot of people. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you meet women, and sometimes you don't. But sometimes you can feel like really just off and just depressed, super, super depressed about, where you are at your stage in life. And it doesn't really matter, whether you're making good money or not, whether you're making good enough money to survive. It is, when you're lacking sort of ordinary, regular human connection, and it's not coming, and all of the things that are going on in the world around you, all the craziness, the wars, and the social problems, the problems that other people are having, not even necessarily problems that just affect you alone, but that they're affecting your family back home, like high prices, or surveillance in Walmart or something, like, invasive, intrusive surveillance in Walmart, and things like that, and high crime. Been out of my own country, the USA, for quite a while, and it is, at some points it's really good. You feel like free, you feel just liberated, and life is really interesting. But at other times, it's like, unless you have those constant human interactions, human connections, like sometimes you just go without for a long time, and you feel like your life is just going nowhere, and it affects your sleep too. You can get really, really depressed, and you try to wake up in the morning, and then you feel like, sort of giving up, like nothing is worth anything. That's the thing, is there's this constant struggle inside yourself, and every day, and it can be, several times a day, where you feel like, God, is it really worth it? Should I just be completely lazy and just sort of give up and not do anything? But I'm in sort of a habit and a routine of getting things done, like getting making sure that I take care of, do my writing, do my work every day, make sure that I shower and shave, and get my hair cut. I haven't had a haircut in a while, by the way. That's why it looks so long. But I wash my clothes, but when you don't have that constant stimulation, when you don't have the familiarity and whatnot, and you're constantly traveling. I mean, it is exciting, and then you run across other travelers, people who are going to different places, and it plays with your head, because you think, wow, maybe I'm not traveling enough. Maybe these people are going to all these places, but I'm working at the same time I'm on the road. So for me, it is, I can't travel as fast as they can. I just can't go places on a whim. I have to work around my schedule. Like if I have to take a 6 hour bus ride or something like that, or a 5 hour plane ride or something like that, then I really have to think about that. I'm gonna have to work it around my schedule, or I have to take a day off. I mean, I can certainly do that, but I prefer not to, because I need to. I like saving money for my future or retirement and whatnot. Early retirement. Let's put it, if it's possible. But yeah, I mean, it's really important to be strong inside, and inner strength is something you kind of have to summon on a daily basis, and sometimes multiple times a day, because routines are hard, and when you don't have a real support system, from other people around you who are you know constantly like giving you inspiration and motivation to continue, you really have to like draw upon sort of almost an empty gas tank. In some ways, it's the way it feels. but the alternative is to sort of give up, and that's really not very, not a very good option, to giving up, because then, you're guaranteed failure. But it's really hard sometimes to keep going when you don't feel like you have a good foundation, when you don't feel like you have a support, like, found, base, to springboard off of, um, and it's funny too, like when it plays with your head too, when you get very, down on yourself or down on life, depressed and, like unhappy with things. You start to get these weird memories, like of these mixed up memories of, like, episodes, times in the past when, you know, things, the way you felt about things, or things went wrong, or even things went right, but, maybe you interpret them differently today. But you get all these, like, you know, memory mashups, and they can really like mess around with your emotions, your mindset, and it's really, you have to struggle to sort of keep your sanity and your because I don't know, you like sometimes your mind will just play tricks on you, when you're in some kind of a state, when you're in a vulnerable state, or a state of transition or something like that. Maybe it's, that's a good word for it. Like you're transitioning from one phase of life to another, but your emotions and your mind can really like play with you, and you get these like memories that are memory mashups of like different times in your life when things happened, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be things that went wrong in your life. It can be like just neutral aspects, but they'll be mashed up with other things, different, like something that happened, you know 10 years ago or 15 years ago can be thrown in and mashed up with something that happened a year ago or yesterday or something like that. And it doesn't really make sense, but for some reason in your emotions, in your memory recall, or your subconscious mind or something, there's some relationship there, or something that it's either trying to tell you on an emotional level, or a psychological level, or whatever, or maybe it's just completely just random, but you don't know. See, that's the other thing. One other thing that can be very disturbing is that you don't really know what this is all about. You don't know whether like uh, you're entering like an unstable period or something like that, or your state of mind, an unstable state of mind, that is just toying with you and playing tricks on you, because you're upset or unhappy or depressed or whatever. And I imagine depression in itself can do some funny things to your mind, to your psyche, and and just, but it knows how to really make you feel even more depressed. That's the thing, whatever this mechanism going on in the back of your mind is, which does these like memory and experience, past experience, mashups in your head. It really knows how to sort of destabilize your mind, or your state, like your normal state of mind, your stability. So it's very, very odd, and it requires, I guess, a sort of mental fortitude, to sort of get past it. You know what I mean? Or to feel it, because you don't want to go down the road of just trying to push it down, like repress all these feelings of chaos in your life, or sadness or depression, or just feeling like you're lost or in the wrong place, or you're not doing enough. You're not, like when you see someone who's traveling, like a real traveler, not a digital nomad, not somebody who's working, who can just like pick up and just do whatever they want on a whim, whereas you have to work around a schedule. So you feel like, you're not doing enough. Like people are doing more than you, and you need to run faster to keep up, or something like that. So all these things are mixed together, with the feelings of instability, not knowing what you're doing next, tomorrow, next week, or something like that, can be mixed together with people that you see people doing things, and you're like, wow, I should be doing that or something. Like it's just this self-doubt, in addition to, feeling kind of like you're not in the right place, you're not happy, you're not firm or confident in where you're at. There's this, fundamental feeling of just doubt all the time. This like plaguing doubt of that you're not in the right place, you're not doing the right thing, you're not making the right decisions. So it takes this like extra effort to be, logical, I guess. You have to, because you get all this like whirlwind of like, psychological tricks, I guess, going on. This like psychological like whirlwind going on, and these emotions that are tied to all these past experiences that are being thrown at you. And it makes you want to stop working hard. It makes you want to stop putting out an effort. And especially in the morning, like when you wake up, like the first when you're in this kind of cycle, in the morning especially, you get that feeling that, oh my God, is it worth it? Is it worth even waking up? Is it worth putting out the effort I have to do to get up and to, shave and, wash myself and, exercise or whatever, is it worth it? Is life, these like fundamental questions, that can arise like once a day or twice a day, even more. Is life really worth it? Is it worth the effort? And because I have to struggle with yourself, because what do you do if the answer is no? That's a pretty scary thought. Like, what do you do? Give up and just sort of allow yourself to slip into sort of laziness and idleness and apathy or something. That was a scary thought. But anyway, so I think I'm not the only one that sort of goes through this. So I just wanted to sort of vent a little bit about kind of the way the world affects affects me and others. It seems like, because there aren't really a lot of support systems for people to rely on to sort of boost you out of that. It does help if other people do support you and try to encourage you and give you some inspiration at times, but that's really hard to find. Most people don't do that. Most people don't have it in them. They're not feeling so great themselves, or they're maybe in worse situations than you are, feeling worse than you are, so they're not in any position to help anyone out. So what do? You vent and try to build up some inner strength and work on yourself, and but it is an effort. It's a massive effort to pull through. So anyway, any comments about that? Just reach out, talk. I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone about this, because I think talking about it does help. People who understand it, talking does help, and it builds strength, and wisdom and experience. Wisdom and experience does help. To overcome these things, especially people that have already been through it. So anyway, that's it.